It's that time of the week again. It's time we break down all of the biggest moments from Sky Bet League One this weekend. Let's go. As always, if you do find value from the content, please make sure you leave a like and subscribe. I'm a little bit husky on this Sunday morning, so we're going to power through. Give me your thoughts in the comment section down below. How do you reflect on the weekend's action? Let's begin with the first game at the Kassam Stadium between Oxford and Cheltenham Town. It finishes Oxford 2, Cheltenham 1, the XG 0.52 to 0.45. By no means was it pretty, in fact at times it was painful, but as Oxford learnt the hard way last week, winning is everything. The concerns over game management does remain. It's either totally passive and pragmatic or full throttle attacking play, and there's simply no balance there whatsoever, but we come back to the same point. We'll be critical, but we'll also look at season state. There's 9 games to go. Last week, the narrative was all about results over performance. This week, that line couldn't have been more fitting. Let's take a look at Cheltenham next. A late goal in each half does cost Cheltenham some vital points in their ongoing fight to stay in League One for next season. Darrell Clarke gave a pretty damning interview after the match, I thought, mentioning the words mentality, mindset, and aspects of their performance that counted for nothing. In the key parts of the game, Cheltenham conceded, and that's what Darrell Clarke is hinting at. In the biggest moments, they did concede. That's the bottom line. But I thought in between those moments, there was a lot to like. Obviously, though, we're getting to that point of the season now, whether you're fighting or chasing, a points return is everything. And Cheltenham, well, they failed to come away with anything from this match. When looking at the graph, it does paint a pretty painful watch for large spells, and it's not lying. Oxford's best spell came in the last 10 minutes after failing to learn the same lesson once again. Why do we drop deeper? Why do we drop off? Why do we play with a slower tempo when we have the lead? It's so clear we look better on the front foot, so why do we become so reactive? We've learnt the hard way against Leyton Orient, against Northampton. We got away with it yesterday by scoring in the last minute. But it is so frustrating. Take a look at the stats in front of you. The shot return is better, but the quality of those chances still aren't game-changing. One big chance, an XG of 0.52, 4 out of 17 shots coming from inside the box. Again, it's just not quite there, and definitely not there on a consistent basis. Oxford have only had an open play XG higher than 1 twice in their last 5 games. Essentially, consistent chance creation remains a big problem for this Des Buckingham team. However, one thing that is consistent is the effective use of the wide players in a Des Buckingham side, and when he was appointed and he moved from Mumbai City, there was one standout of his principle, and that was the use of wingers. As the positions do show, the wingers and fullbacks are encouraged to play higher but also stay wide too. The left side of Lee and Murphy is developing every single week. Of course, both were on the score sheet yesterday, but the general patterns are looking slicker by the game. When looking at key players, I've given it away, but I thought Josh Murphy and Owen Dale were the standouts once again. The duo created a combined 3 chances created and were directly involved in both goals. A great finish from Josh Murphy in the first half and a great assist after taking his man on in the second half from Owen Dale. A great header from Greg Lee too, but it's the effect and the goal involvements from both of those wide players. It's really important, and they're showing it. And that, like I say, is one consistent element to this Oxford United side under Des Buckingham. Next up, Barnsley 1, Lincoln 5. The XG is 0.95 to 2.46. Barnsley to lose 5-1 at home. Not many people would have put money on that before the game, but what on earth happened? Let's break it all down. Let's start off with the losing side, Barnsley. Outthought, outrun and outplayed. A combination that's asking for trouble. And oh boy did Barnsley get into some trouble at Oakwell yesterday afternoon. A spineless defence, an invisible midfield, a toothless front line. I can't believe I'm speaking about the same team from last week. They're completely unrecognisable. We'll break down the collapse of yesterday in detail, but for me it's all about the response and the reaction. It was humbling and utterly woeful, but it can't derail their season. As for Lincoln City, I'm sure T-Lop will be absolutely unbearable. I'm recording that after this, but I'll let that slide because Lincoln City were magnificent in every single way. That second half performance was probably up there with one of the best this season, to be honest. It was a total dismantling job. Everything turned to gold dust. 11 games unbeaten, 6 points off the top 6, 9 games to go. It's really difficult to argue Skabala is getting things clicking. All the important pieces are falling into place. When looking at the graph in front of you without knowing the score and having to predict the outcome purely through this graph, I don't think many of you would have said 5-1 Lincoln, but in a way, that's exactly how Lincoln did humiliate Barnsley. They smelt blood, dealt with any pressure comfortably, and were probably the most ruthless side I've seen all season. When looking at the stats, before we praise Lincoln, we have to highlight the glaring issues that Barnsley have faced in the last 2 games. Across those matches, Barnsley have faced 36 combined shots, with 18 of those on target, whilst conceding a total of 11 big chances. When on the weaker foot, dealing with opposition pressure, at the moment, they couldn't be weaker. And again, that's unrecognisable. 36 shots, 18 on target, conceding 11 big chances. They are some very, very concerning defensive numbers. As for Lincoln, they well and truly smelt blood. Every Barnsley mistake was pounced on, and it felt as if every shot became a goal. With only 33% of the ball and a 64% pass accuracy, this Lincoln side created numerous chances and goals, obviously, from almost moments of nothing. They used hard work, intelligence, speed and potency to rip through this Barnsley side over and over again. Lincoln's third goal is actually my favourite and highlights everything that was incredible about their 90-minute display. In fact, that goal itself uses all of those 4 words effectively: hard work, speed, intelligence and potency. Ben House shows hard work to win the ball back, then uses speed to progress forward. Joe Taylor's flick is so intelligent, and Danny Monjoy's finish is nothing but potent. It's a perfect combination, and a combination that Barnsley, like in the second half on Tuesday night, they couldn't deal with. When looking at key players, to win a game in that style, to a man, pretty much everybody has to be perfection. That's both the starters and the players coming off the bench. Jack Moylan came off the bench and he was perfection. His 2 goals are exquisite finishes, the one from outside the box, the dribbling run into the bottom corner, but my favourite Moylan moment comes in the 78th minute. His role for Lincoln's 5th goal is everything about the player that they've inherited from Ireland. He picks the ball up in his own half, drives with pace and power, beats 2 defenders in the box and sets up the goal. If that's just the start of Jack Moylan, teams could be in big trouble because, let's put it simply, Barnsley, they couldn't deal with him. Bristol Rovers 0, Derby County 3 is up next. The XG 0.41 to 1.69. Let's begin with Bristol Rovers. Sometimes we can overanalyse things. There's levels. Derby, when it mattered, took this game away from the home side. The scoreline obviously is bad and isn't good reading, 3-0 at home. But I wouldn't say it was that bad from a Bristol Rovers perspective. It does sound stupid, stay with me, but if you take away the 3 converted chances, you'd say they were okay defensively for large periods, and when they changed their shape in the second half, did offer bits going forward, but in the defining moments, they were punished, and that's what the top sides do. As for Derby County, 3 moments, 3 snapshots and a real important set of 3 points. It was a professional job. As the graph will show us in a moment, Derby actually won this game in the half where they looked most on the back foot, an approach that's just so poor form. That's back-to-back 3-0 wins in League One for Derby now, equaling the club record of 12 wins on the road. In classic Warne style, they're finding the perfect promotion-pushing form at just the right time. Whoever doubted him? Let's take a look at the graph in front of you. As mentioned in the introduction, all 3 of Derby's goals came in the half where Bristol Rovers showed the most attacking intent. We've said it time and time again with a poor Warne side. They're far more dangerous without the ball. Concede possession, go clinically direct and take every clear-cut opportunity. It sounds so simple, but it's exactly the way Derby stun their opposition, especially on the road. The last point is highlighted again when looking at the metrics. With 66% of the ball in the first half, Derby's build-up and ability to stretch Bristol Rovers was effective, but with no output, there was a change needed. After the break, Derby dropped their attempted passes by 121 and settled with 33% of the ball, conceding possession. But they had their first shot on target of the game and accumulated all 3 of their big chances. Derby's work out of possession is what wins them games. There's a total trust defensively, with so much ability to hurt teams when they can transition so quickly into an attacking unit. Paul Warne's side have the lowest expected goals against with 20.27 and the second least amount of open play goals conceded across the campaign so far. In transition, the numbers back it up too. They currently have the 4th quickest direct speed, a measurement that calculates how quickly a team progresses with the ball upfield. So how have Derby gone from a disjointed unit in the early stages of the season to one of the smoothest machines in the league? 2 words for me: organisation and understanding. These are 2 sets of Derby average positions. On the left we have Bolton away from September, and on the right we have yesterday's against Bristol Rovers. Look at the difference in shape and the clear positions that Derby are adopting at Bristol Rovers. The midfield structure is clear, the wing-backs offer symmetrical width, and the front 3 is dangerously fluid. As for the Bolton game, I could probably only tell you where the goalkeeper was playing. So around the grounds we go: Barnsley 1, Lincoln 5, Blackpool 0, Pompey 0, Bristol Rovers 0, Derby 3, Burton 0, Peterborough 1, Cambridge 1, Northampton 1, Charlton 3, Carlisle 2, Exeter 2, Bolton 2, Oxford 2, Cheltenham 1, Port Vale 1, Shrewsbury 2, Reading 1, Wycombe 2, Stevenage 0, Fleetwood 0, and Wigan 1, Leyton Orient 0. A great set of fixtures in Sky Bet League 1, some interesting results too. Thank you so much, thanks for bearing with me with this terrible voice I'm dealing with at the moment. Until next time, I've been Jack, this has been the Jack Wood Football Podcast. Give your thoughts in the comments below, and I will see you very, very soon. Take care.